To conduct a document review utilizing the Management Responsibility Program under the SQF Module 2.1.1, first check if the document title matches the uploaded file name on the dashboard. In this instance, we do have the same titles as the Management Responsibility Program. Next, both must have the same document code. For this example, we do have 2.1.1P0. And since this is a template, we indicate the PCQI as the account initials. However, we can customize the code based on the company's initials. For the page number, we use the page X of Y format to ensure that it reflects the current page position and the total page number of the document. Then insert the company logo here, together with the company name, the company address, and enter the designated department. For the originated by section, it can be the food safety, quality assurance, or the quality control personnel of the company. The originator ensures the implementation of the quality management and document control system. First, enter the name of the originator, affix the signature, input the position title, and the date originated. For the reviewed by section, it can be the personnel assigned in the Quality Management Department who reviews the drafted document or its revision for accuracy and implementation. First, enter the name of the reviewer, affix the signature, input the position title, and the date reviewed. For the approved by section, it must be the person in the C-level management who has approval authority. First, enter the name of the approver, affix the signature, input the position title, and the date approved. The revision date is the same as the date originated or drafted by the author. For the effective date, it is the date the document was signed and approved. The publication date is when the document is published for distribution and initiated personnel training. The implementation date is when the document is distributed and personnel training is completed. For the supersedes, put original for the initial issuance of the document. For any revisions, reflect the initial revision date before the current revision. Please be reminded that this section must be properly filled out to be compliant. Now we will focus on the components of the program. First is purpose. The purpose is the implementation of any certification standard or compliance with a regulatory requirement. For this program, it is for implementation with the SQF Module 2 Edition 9 for food manufacturing under Clause 2.1.1. The first purpose is to implement SQF 2.1.1.1, Senior Site Management shall prepare and implement a policy statement that outlines at a minimum the commitment of all site management to 1. Supply safe food, 2. Establish and maintain a food safety culture within the site, 3. Establish and continually improve the site's food safety management system, and 4. Comply with customer and regulatory requirements to supply safe food. The policy statement shall be signed by the senior site manager and displayed in prominent positions. And 6. Effectively communicated to all site personnel in the languages understood by all site personnel. 2. To implement SQF 2.1.1.2, senior site management shall lead and support a food safety culture within the site that ensures at a minimum 1. The establishment, documentation, and communication to all relevant staff of food safety objectives and performance measures. 2. Adequate resources are available to meet food safety objectives. And 3. Food safety practices and all applicable requirements of the SQF system are adapted and maintained. 4. Employees are informed and held accountable for their food safety and regulatory responsibilities. 5. Employees are positively encouraged and required to notify management about actual or potential food safety issues. And 6. Employees are empowered to act to resolve food safety issues within their scope of work. 3. To implement SQF 2.1.1.3, the reporting structure shall identify and describe site personnel with specific responsibilities for tasks within the food safety management system and identify a backup for the absence of key personnel. Job descriptions for the key personnel shall be documented. Site management shall ensure departments and operations are appropriately staffed and organizationally aligned to meet food safety objectives. 4. To implement SQF 2.1.1.4, senior site management shall designate a primary and substitute SQF practitioner of each site with responsibility and authority to 1. Oversee the development, implementation, review, and maintenance of the SQF system. 2. Take appropriate action to ensure the integrity of the SQF system. And 3. Communicate to relevant personnel all information essential to ensure the effective implementation and maintenance of the SQF system. 5. To implement SQF 2.1.1.5, the primary and substitute SQF practitioner shall 1. Be employed by the site, 2. Hold a position of responsibility related to the management of the site's SQF system, 3. Have completed a HACCP training course, 4. Be competent to implement and maintain HACCP-based food safety plans, and 5. Have an understanding of the SQF Food Safety Code food manufacturing and the requirements to implement and maintain an SQF system relevant to the site's scope of certification. 6th, to implement SQF 2.1.1.6, senior site management shall ensure the training needs of the sites are resourced, implemented, and meet the requirements outlined in System Elements 2.9, and that site personnel meet the required competencies to carry out those functions affecting the legality and safety of food products. 7th, to implement SQF 2.1.1.7, senior site management shall ensure the integrity and continued operation of food safety system in the event of organizational or personnel changes within the company or associated facilities. And 8th, to implement SQF 2.1.1.8, senior site management shall designate defined blackout periods that prevent unannounced recertification audits from occurring out of season or when the site is not operating for legitimate business reasons. The list of blackout dates and their justification shall be submitted to the certification body a minimum of 1 month before the 60-day recertification window for the agreed-upon unannounced audit. Now let's proceed to the second component of the program, which is scope. The scope of the program is based on the purpose and serves as a guide in defining and describing the layout of the procedure. It includes the policy statement, the food safety culture, organizational chart, SQF practitioner, the site's scope of certification, blackout periods, job descriptions, key personnel provision, the provision for coverage on all shifts and replacement during absence, and the commitment of management. Next to scope is policy. The policies are the rules set by the company as their implementation guide. Management ensures that the resources required to implement the policy and food safety objectives are available. Management demonstrated that employees understand their responsibility for food safety and be allowed the time, tools, and authority to carry out these responsibilities. These are understood by all employees and staff members of the site. Management clearly identify and provide the resources to achieve food safety objectives. Next to policy is procedure. The procedure is the step-by-step process and the actual implementation of the policy. First, under procedure is the policy statement. A documented policy statement signed by the senior site manager that commits to meeting regulatory and customer requirements and indicates how those requirements are met, setting and achieving food safety objectives, reviewing food safety objectives on a regular basis, and continually improving their SQF food safety management system. Next, Document policy statement that was signed, which you may refer to Food Safety Policy Statement. The policy statement is available to all staff in a form and language that is understood by all staff, which you may refer to Food Safety Policy Statement. And the Food Safety Policy Statement is displayed and made available to all staff in the following location: the break room, lunchroom area, or the hallway bulletin board. Next listed under procedure is the food safety culture. Shared values, beliefs, and norms that affect mindset and behavior toward food safety in, across, and throughout an organization. Second, elements of food safety culture are those elements of the food safety management system which the senior management of a company may use to drive the food safety culture within the company. These include, but are not limited to, communication about food safety policies and responsibilities, training, employee feedback on food safety related issues, and the performance measurement, which you may refer to Food Safety Culture Survey. Third is the culture plan and responsibilities. Under culture plan and responsibilities, first, food safety culture is driven by the food safety team at the manufacturing facility through the communications and interactions and by the decisions of the food safety team makes relative to the raw materials, in processes, employee practices, trainings, and finished product disposition. Second, the food safety team set reward and recognition processes that reinforce food safety. Third, food safety team are responsible for developing and communicating the commitment to food safety and ensuring that the objectives are met. Fourth, employees are informed and held accountable for their food safety and regulatory responsibilities. Fifth, employees are positively encouraged and required to notify management about actual or potential food safety issues. And sixth, employees are empowered to act to resolve food safety issues within their scope of work. Next to culture plan and responsibilities is the food safety objectives. 1. Setting of food safety objectives per department. 2. Communication to all staff by displaying on the notice boards, internal communications, and discussion on toolbox meetings. 3. Refer to food safety objectives, food safety objectives monitoring, and the food safety objectives monthly action report. And fourth, report and discussed in the management review, which you may refer to management review program. Third listed under procedure is the organizational chart. Organizational chart has the position descriptions that demonstrate the interrelationships and responsibilities within the site, which you may refer to organizational chart. And personnel responsible for food safety and continuous improvements are identified with the asterisk mark. Fourth listed under procedure is the primary and substitute SQF practitioner. First, the primary and substitute SQF practitioner is employed as full-time employee and completed the HACCP training course. Second, both the primary and substitute practitioner are individuals within the organizational structure with technical, quality, food safety, and/or operational knowledge, experience, and responsibility. Third, competent to implement and maintain HACCP-based food safety plans. Fourth, where the primary practitioner is not available to do so due to planned absence, the substitute practitioner takes the responsibility to ensure the ongoing continuity of the SQF system. Fifth, some sites may have more than one SQF designated practitioner to cover additional shifts or departments, in which case the requirement for a substitute practitioner can easily be met. However, sites with a single SQF practitioner are required to have a substitute identified, trained, and available to fill in for the primary practitioner when required. And 6. Understand the SQF Food Safety Code Food Manufacturing and the requirements to implement and maintain an SQF system relevant to the site's scope of certification, which you may refer to SQF Practitioner Designation Letter. Fifth, under procedure, is the site's scope of certification. The scope of certification applies to all operations and to all receipts through distribution in compliance with SQF Food Safety Code for Manufacturing Edition 9. Next is blackout periods. Blackout dates identified as federal holiday or as declared by senior management. And blackout date identified will not infringe the certification body to perform the scheduled audit. Next to blackout periods is the job description's key personnel provision. Under that is the food safety and regulatory responsibility. As a part of food safety, the quality personnel is responsible for adhering to the SQF Food Safety Code for Manufacturing, Food Safety Management System, GMPs, HACCP, Food Safety Plans, and FISMA required standards, which you may refer to personnel qualification job descriptions. Eighth, under procedure, is the provision for coverage on all shifts and replacement during absence, which you may refer to food safety team and alternate and the personnel qualification job descriptions. And ninth is the commitment of management. First, ensures that employees are trained and assessed as competent to carry out job functions pertaining to food safety is documented, and the job descriptions reflect the competencies required of each employee to carry out their food safety responsibilities and the training that is necessary to assure those competencies, which you may refer to training program. The fifth component of the program is responsibility. The responsibility of the person is indicated. It covers what to perform to comply with the procedure or the policy. First, we have the responsibility of the SQF practitioner. 1. Oversee the development, implementation, review, and maintenance of the site's SQF system. 2. Develop, validate, verify, and maintain the company's food safety plans and oversee the daily operation of the SQF system. 3. Represent senior site management and ensure the SQF system is working and effective 24/7. And fourth, communicate to relevant personnel all information essential to ensure the effective implementation and maintenance of the SQF system. Next, we have the responsibility of the alternate SQF practitioner, which is same qualifications and experience as the primary SQF practitioner and who is available and capable of carrying out the functions of the primary SQF practitioner during an extended absence. And third, the responsibility of the senior site management. Senior site management is responsible for business operations within the site and for implementation and improvement of the food safety management system. And leading and supporting a food safety culture within the site and providing the commitment and resources to implement and manage the SQF system. The sixth component of the program is corrective action. First, in the event that the management responsibility program does not comply or deviate from the SQF standard requirements, conduct an FSMS management review to update the responsibilities of the food safety team and SQF leader. And blackout dates must be reviewed and approved by management and communicated to third-party certification body. Seventh is the review quality department. The review section serves as guidelines for conducting the annual or periodic review. 1. A documented policy statement signed by the senior site manager that commits to meeting regulatory and customer requirements and indicates how those requirements shall be met. Setting and achieving food safety objectives, reviewing food safety objectives on a regular basis, and continually improving their SQF food safety management system. Second, the currency of the policy statement. Third, the availability of the policy statement to all staff within the site. This includes confirming employee understanding of the policy statement. Fourth, food safety objectives are established and realistic. Fifth, activities within the site meet regulatory and customer expectations. Sixth, activities within the site reflect established food safety objectives. The auditor may see company food safety meeting minutes and check if management participated in these meetings. Seventh, the policy statement, including food safety objectives, is reviewed at least annually. Eighth, there is a current, documented organizational structure in place that identifies those responsible for food safety and their interrelationship and is agreed by senior management. Ninth, job descriptions are in place for positions within the site that have responsibility for food safety. The auditor may question why positions have been vacant for a long period of time or the site chooses to use a large temporary labor pool. 10th, adequate resources are in place to meet food safety objectives and the requirements of the SQF system. This includes coverage for all operational shifts and absences. 11th, employees within the site with responsibility for food safety are clearly identified, are aware of their responsibilities, and are trained and competent to carry out these responsibilities. 12. Senior management ensures that all designated food safety practices and activities are correctly documented, meet the requirements of the SQF code, and are correctly and fully implemented on all shifts. This would include a review as to the timelines of implementation of corrective actions, action on complaints, and addressing identified gaps in the site's programs. 13th, there is a designated SQF practitioner who manages the implementation and maintenance of the SQF system on a daily basis. 14th, the designated practitioner has the qualifications necessary to be an SQF practitioner and is capable and competent to carry out this function. 15th, the designated practitioner has the support of senior management and has the time and availability to monitor the effectiveness of the SQF system, is competent and has the authority, take appropriate corrective actions when necessary, and communicates to relevant employees any information necessary to maintain or improve the system. And senior management has processes in place to measure the effective implementation of the SQF system and initiate, resource, and review improvement programs. 8th is reference documents. The reference documents are the set of documents used to implement and monitor a program, policy, or procedure. Under reference documents is the Food Safety Policy Statement, Food Safety Policy Statement in Espanol, the Food Safety Culture Survey, the Personnel Qualification Job Descriptions, Organizational Chart, followed by the SQF Practitioner Designation Letter, Food Safety Team Primary and Alternate, then we have Food Safety Team Designation Letter, Food Safety Objectives, the Food Safety Objectives Performance Monitoring, the Food Safety Objectives Monthly Action Report, and the Management Review Program. Next to reference documents is references. The reference section is composed of guides utilized to implement the program. Examples are the Certification Guide, regulations, and other widely accepted scientific journals, research, and the like. It must comply with the standard format citation, which can be based on either MLA, APA, or Chicago style, and update the access date. Lastly, history. The history section is where we can update the program if there are any changes or revisions made in the document. If there is a revision, enter the revision number, followed by the revision date, the description of the change made, the name of the author or the originator, and the title or department of the author or the originator.